did all of that.
Like, if I didn't know white guy made that, I'd know white guy made that.
Okay. So, free speech. We are in post-show. What? Okay, so our chat room was talking about Texas and drug laws. Butterfoot is saying that in Texas, you can get life in prison for pot brownies because they weighed the brownies and not the weight of the weed.
You don't tell it. Well, how much weed gets you life in prison? Like a pound?
That's a good.
I mean, it's,
I have no idea.
unless like you're like a fucking bakery that's making nothing but pot brownies.
That's really upsetting because there was a woman here in Texas who used fingernail clippers to clip her son's genitals and then used super glue to super glue them back closed, and then it was her husband. She was punishing her, like, I don't know, 2.5-year-old for like being a 2.5-year-old, and then used super glue to super glue them closed, and then she got 2.5 years. No weed though. No weed.
Well, so
that shit is nonsense, and you stop that shit immediately.
That's how that works.
Well, since we're in the fallout of a new Trump presidency, I guess maybe...
Did anyone really think we would be talking about Donald Trump being president?
No, I really didn't.
Unbelievable.
Apparently you were until like the last minute you decided not to.
Well, until I saw like the last Nate Silver polls, I was like, I've been saying for a year, Hillary Clinton couldn't win. I've been saying it on the air. I said that she would motivate right-wing voters to come out and vote against her, and that left-wing voters would be like, eh.
But then
and that's
decided...
what happened. And then, like, the last week I was like, well, all the polls are saying that...
I guess I'll just, suck Nate Silver's dick.
Well, yeah, Nate Silver is my boy. I mean, that dude is like super math, and that's sexy as fuck. So, yeah.
Now, granted, he was giving a bigger chance to Trump than anybody else, and he was saying, look, guys, you're not fucking paying attention to this bullshit.
Yeah.
Besides super endorsed Trump, polls.
Well, right. But, I mean, I got to say, like, Nate Silver was taking a lot of shit from the mainstream media because they're like, you're just doing this for web hits and whatever. And he's like, fucking no. Look at what's happening here. And it's closer than you think.
And it was right about that time that it was the first time that I really had a fucking doubt.
Yeah, well, not for me, but...
I mean, I know. And you'd been saying that for a long time. You thought Trump was electable for a fucking year. You've been saying Trump is electable. I'm like, there's no fucking way.
But that's not what he said on the last show.
No, it's not.
Yeah, well...
because Nate Silver was even saying, like, 65% Hillary, and I trust the guy. I trust his data skills. And so I was stunned on Election Day, despite the fact that I've been saying for a year that Hillary was going to go down.
I didn't think that Dorito rape motherfucker would even get another fucking reality show.
Yeah.
Well, and I think for me, like, I was real stunned and kind of numb about it, because it's one thing, like, when you feel like the whole time, like, oh, I like this candidate, but I know they're going to lose. Kind of like Bernie Sanders. Like, when he lost, I wasn't, like, super destroyed about it, because it was like, well, he's a long shot, vote for him. He gave it the best shot, but I kind of see the writing on the wall pretty quickly. But like with Clinton, I mean, everything and everybody, who, had an opinion that mattered or a poll that mattered pretty much called it on the side of Clinton.
Well, except that here's the thing, and this is what I was saying at the end of the primaries, was that if you looked at the head-to-head polling data, Clinton was like 1.5 points above Trump, which is where she ended. And she was like losing to people like Kasich and Cruz. And I'm like, this is not an electable person. You cannot put her in there. She's not electable. Meanwhile, Bernie Sanders was, double digits ahead. There was a poll that was done. I think Grayson from Florida actually commissioned it. 2 days before the election, said, would you vote for Bernie or Trump? And he was still ahead by double digits. If they had run a populist candidate, they would have won. And here's the other thing that I really want people to know this. Third-party voters, and I was one. I'm in Texas, so it doesn't matter. She lost by double digits here. I knew she was going to lose by double digits here. If it was in a swing state, it would have been different. But if you gave every Jill Stein voter to her, she still loses. If you look at the exit polling for Gary Johnson voters favored Hillary Clinton by 0.4%. So 0.4% more conservative voters voted for Johnson than liberal.
Trump lost more votes to third-party candidates than Clinton did.
What I'm saying is that if Gary Johnson was evaporated the day before the election, that she might not have even won the popular vote.
Can I say something?
You can.
While there are people paying $1 to watch this shit, you couldn't pay me $1 to watch this shit.
Yeah, that's because you don't care about
I do also want to point out that the Republican Party, for all their faults, they ran an open and fair primary.
Yep. Like way far too open.
Way too open. and
20 fucking people.
And it gave the Republicans a chance to vote for the candidate that they wanted. And that's you did not see that from the Democrat side.
No, you did not.
And to make it even worse, after it was proven that they obviously rigged the primary in favor of Clinton, then she hired her on to her own campaign and just gave the middle finger to all the Bernie people. So next,
I gotta tell you, like, I have been told over and over this election season by Democrats, we don't want your vote, we don't need it, we're gonna win without you. What happened? What happened? I mean, like Democrats were actively involved in. And then after Bernie lost, they turned to Bernie voters and said, "We don't care what you want in the platform. You lost. You're done." And if they had just drawn in some of those voters, like
just 2 points worth of voters,
100,000 voters. If they had gotten 100,000 voters, they would have won, and they didn't. The Democratic Party, the Hillary Clinton campaign, Hillary Clinton herself, they lost this all on their own, and they are the only people to blame, and you need to fire everyone in the Democratic Party.
Yeah, 2020 comes around, and hopefully whoever they have as the DNC chair is a lot brighter than Debbie Wasserman Schultz, because I think, when it really comes down to it, I think she's a linchpin that made this all possible.
She and Hillary Clinton, who was wielding power and money to push people out of the race, and I don't think you can look at it any other way, honestly.
I mean, that's what the data shows, and it's hard to argue with that. So, warm vaginas that are...
Oh, yeah. Okay, so, good big news in the sex robot industry. As early as next year, they are going to be...
We're fucking obsessed with sex robots.
It's the future. I'm making investments in companies.
I understand why you're obsessed with sex robots.
Investments in companies.
You need absolutely no class, no couth, no sense of game whatsoever. You just program it to fuck you. But Ferris, really?
Yes.
I'm hoping to make bank off of
Ferris, you're just being
IPOs
lazy.
We've had this argument over and over. I know we need to have the argument again. We can. I'm up for it.
Let's.
Okay. So a robot can give you, they're not going to give you anything you don't want or need, right? Given sufficient AI, they're going to give you every emotional need you have. And if your emotional need is conflict for some reason, because you're a crazy person, they will give you that too. They won't do everything you want. They will do everything you need.
And instead of having to compromise with them, you can just get exactly what you want.
How fucking boring could you possibly want your fucking life to be?
You have no idea how boring I am.
Dude, how fucking boring could you possibly fucking want your life to be?
It's such a pain in the ass, taking someone else's feelings into consideration. It's fucking awful.
And Reb's doing his his ritual. The sex robot will just do it like actual women are like, dude, what are you doing right now? No, you stand on that side of the bed.
Dude, first of all, 50%, 60% of the fun is the chase, okay? Once you catch it, you just bite the tires.
That's a pain in the ass.
I agree with that. But also, if you feel like the chase is what you want,
then you go for it.
The sex robot will give you that.
I want to know, but yeah, okay, that's like someone throwing the game, though.
Well, you can program it with random outcomes. Maybe it doesn't go out with you.
Then why the fuck wouldn't I just do the regular thing?
Because sex robots are so much better.
And plus, there's no judgment at the end of it and all the rest of that.
Like, look what you did to my hair.
Yeah.
Now I see why Reb's upset. It's the judgment.
I just think overall...
It's the judgment at the end.
It's a much healthier outcome for everybody involved. So I think you're going to see STD rates lower.
It's giving you a false sense of security. It's going to be like, you're so great at that. No, you're fucking not. You're fucking awful at that.
But even if I'm awful, I just want some robot to tell me it's awesome. I don't want to get better.
Yo.
I don't want to get a better game.
Okay, Amanda Stevens in the chat room says, because you don't have to deal with a human. Right?
There you go.
Okay, so the other side of the coin...
Nobody has to deal with a human, Ferris.
No, you're right. But Inspike has the other side of the coin. He says, as a gay man who didn't have his first relationship until I was 30, I have to say, considering the feelings of my boyfriend was the most rewarding part, that and the sex.
And you can do that with a robot.
Exactly.
If it's a true artificial intelligence, it'll have feelings.
It'll have feelings, and it will be rewarding.
And once you get tired of those feelings, you can just turn them off.
If the artificial feelings are quote unquote real, then why wouldn't you just deal with an actual person?
Because there's consequences to that.
If it's a sufficiently developed artificial intelligence, it won't care about you.
Right.
That's.
Well, no, it might actually. Like, if it's
good, I hope you get that, because then it's just like dating a dude. Okay, fine. There. Now you know. Now you know what it's like.
Insufficiently developed.
I think human interaction is way overrated. Way overrated.
See, and here Amanda gets it. Amanda Stevens in the chat room says, "I enjoy orgasms, but hate people." So, see, perfect solution. And even if you hate orgasms but love people, like a sex robot can do that for you with sufficient AI.
Like if you're just feeling really lazy and you just want to be a starfish and just let something else do it for you, you can do that. You can do that.
Okay, see, now this must be a guy problem and a girl problem, because I can just lay there and be a starfish, and they're like, oh my god, that's so great, that's so great, that's so great. So I'm like, I'm tired, I don't want to do any of the work, and they're like, all right.
But that only lasts for so long. I mean, you can't do that for
I was married for
times
10 years. It only lasts for so long.
Vince Mike is rightly pointing out that the kind of AI we're talking about would pass the Turing test, so it would ethically be indistinguishable from an actual person. However, the sex robots, their purpose would be sex robots, and so they would...
You know how humans are looking for purpose in their life? The sex robot has it. Right in front of them, someone's telling them their exact purpose, what they were made for.
Yep, and they're going to be super happy about it.
Maybe not after they have to have sex with me, but...
you surprised.
But wouldn't that be upsetting to know that the emotional connection back to you was programmed?
No, I don't need reciprocation or anything like that, no. I don't need to feel like they actually feel anything. It's kind of how I operate right now.
But what Inspike is saying is that this would be an actual sentient being, but they would be totally into it. You could surprise your sex robot with a Cleveland steamer. And they'd be totally cool with it.
Oh baby,
but isn't half the fun finding out? Isn't half the fun finding out whether or not they're into it?
No, it's...
but if that is half the fun, then the sex robot would give you that.
I'm starting to think that this is a divide between men and women.
No,
Amanda's in the chat room saying she hates people but wants to get her nut off.
And she's saying we can just turn them off and put them in the closet, right? It's like a vibrator with arms and legs. She likes it. That's what she... This is not a male-female thing. This is a...
No, but I like get what Amanda's saying, but I can't tell you how many times I didn't know his name, and he was like, my name is, and I was like, shh, unimportant.
But like sometimes I just want to be playing a video game and be like, oh, I've got a boner right now. Dude, just come over here, finish me, and then I'm gonna go back to
I can do that.
But see, no one wants to do that for like a long-term relationship type of thing.
I've got like
eventually they're going to get
people
really
in my
old
phone.
of that.
Do you know how many video games I can play a day and like
Well, to do it now.
make that happen? Like I don't even have that many video games. Oh wait.
Oh, she's actually
mind.
going to play. So
I mean, yeah, video games.
It's like it's hot like the first couple times, so eventually the person will be like, "No, I don't want to blow you right now," and I'm like, "Oh, but I want one now."
Putterfoot in the chat room says passing the Turing test doesn't mean that it is self-aware. It just means it can fool us. But Inspike makes a good point, which is if it can fool us, it doesn't matter. If it can fool us into thinking it is self-aware, how can we morally treat it differently than an actual person? And I agree with that.
No bullshit, because I've had men that fooled me into thinking they cared about me. Turns out they didn't.
Yeah, but see, I don't-
and I treated them differently when I knew that.
But see, I don't want to have to put the effort into pretending like I care for the other person. I just
What
want
if you
to skip straight to the end.
Okay, but have you ever actually cared for another person? You didn't
I don't know.
find that fulfilling?
I think about it, and I'm not sure. Maybe.
Jeff.
Maybe not.
Jeff's like, I'm running for office.
Jeff, you've recently gotten married, and to be honest, as an event coordinator or someone who works with event coordinations, when someone's like, "Oh, I'm getting married in October of 2018, can you email me a menu and do all this shit for me?" I'm like, dude, it's November of 2016. Let me know in like August of 2018 if you're still even with this dude. And I don't even give I hate going to their weddings and making sure everything's okay because it's fucking stupid and no, shush. It's optimistic and it's fucking lame and it pisses me off. However, there are exceptions, and I feel like you and Carrie are that exception. Do you feel like you could be as happy, satisfied, and fulfilled with a robot Carrie?
Absolutely not.
Knowing that
Thank you.
knowing that she could be listening to this.
And maybe that's good for Jeff, but maybe it's not good enough for me.
Do you feel like you could program a Carrie and be like, well, I'm going to delude myself into... Then do it.
I feel like you're one of those Christians. It's like you have to be a Christian or nothing else. You have to have sex this way or nothing else.
I want to point out Kristen in the chat room, and she's very, very smart. I just want to say that. Would you like to disagree with this?
No, she is.
Oh, she is. So Kristen in the chat room says, would I have to buy the robot because I can get laid with no strings for free? And
Thank you.
Right. So that is the real male-female divide, is the purchasing power and the ability to have sex.
But that still comes
on
with the
demand.
risks of venereal diseases and pregnancy and all the rest of that stuff.
There's so many options for women.
More importantly,
or gay
and
men.
It's
back me up,
scary.
Mike.
It comes with risk of
Oh,
feelings.
that's true. Well, that's what I was going
There's a lot of risks there, and then with the sex robot, you don't have to worry about it.
No, I'm not saying it's not okay for some people, because I mean there's a lot of people that only want to have sex with no strings attached. A lot of people, and that's fine. What's the difference between a sex robot and someone you bend over and never know their name?
Not much.
Right.
Yeah, not much. Yeah.
Right, and that's fine, but
that's
it's
harder to
not
find.
for you.
And an option that's safe, like, you know, STD wise and everything else, to know that at the end of that you're not going to have, like, you know, a baby or
I could
AIDS or
literally-
something.
Also, women lie.
Bitches ain't loyal.
No, I'm saying.
No, it's not us. It's our vaginas. They get all mouthy, and we're like, "Shh, don't lie to them."
No, I'm just saying.
And they're like, "You're the best we ever had." No, it's a good size.
Oh, that's the best. That's the best when women say that. I don't even care if they're lying. Just fucking say it.
just say it. Yeah. Like,
Right.
yes,
They were
yes,
talking
yes.
about the omelet you made them rub.
No, but I mean,
You think I cook omelets for people the day after? Psh, fuck that. I don't even pay for a cab.
I've seen your stove. You've never cooked anything, and you've literally lived in that house for years. Also, fist bump on the cab fare.
I think we're done here. I think we've.
We found common ground on the cab thing.
Right?
Putterfoot in the chat room gets the last word. He says, "And we can grab them by their robo pussies." Boom, done. See you guys next week. All right, we're not done yet.
Oh, fuck.
It's Mike.
Thanks, it's Mike. Thanks, we're back.
No,
We're back.
I just because if they can pass the
Read
Turing,
the thing Mike said.
the difference between bending over someone whose name you don't know and a sex robot is the difference between a regular person and your hand. Tell me the human factor doesn't contribute to sex. That's Heather's position. My position is if they can pass the Turing test, there is no difference.
It's kind of like when women lie to me and say, "Oh, your dick's so big." I'm fine with that, even if it's not real.
There you go. And it's not. But
Don't worry, Mike. I'll take care of it.
totally see you guys next week.